Attachment is Forbidden, an Obi-Wan Kenobi fanfiction by Dead Sparrow. Chapter 1, Blockade. Hello, my name is Ari Cinder, and this is my story. I was young when this started, 20 years old when he came into my life and turned my whole world upside down. I had decided I wouldn't fall in love, but he made me change my mind, and I changed his. It was forbidden, it was wrong, it was against everything we had learned. But it felt so right. I was Queen Amidala's guard. My mission in life was to protect her. But I was her friend as well, her best friend. There weren't any secrets between us. We had been friends since she was a small girl before she became Queen of Naboo at age 14. Even though I was 6 years older, we shared a strong friendship. When she was elected queen, she decided to make me her lifeguard, as she trusted me more than anybody else. She was very nervous about being Naboo's queen, but I knew she was well prepared for the job. In front of other people, I would call her Your Highness, or similar names, and she would call me Miss Cinder. But in private, she was just Padme, and I was just Ari. Let's talk a bit about me, right? I'm not the most beautiful girl in the galaxy. I have long black, wavy hair, big, light brown eyes, and I'm short. Well, taller than Padme, but still short. I was a pretty normal girl, but I couldn't care less. Talking about my personality, I'm stubborn, independent, a very optimistic person, and you can often see a smile on my face. I never get too attached to people. Getting attached only causes problem, is what I used to think. I was so right and so stupid. About my family, I don't exactly have one. My father left my mother as soon as he found out she was pregnant. I hope he burns in hell. My mother didn't have enough money to feed me, so she gave me up to a very nice couple who raised me like I was their own daughter. Although I was very fond of them, I left when I was 15. I wanted to live a life worth living. I wanted to fight. Enough chatting. Let's start with the story, okay? I was in one of the rooms in the palace with the queen. She wasn't Padme, just a decoy. I was the only person who knew the real queen was dressed as one of her servants, as we had come up with this idea together. It had been a few months since the Trade Federation started the blockade to our little, beautiful planet, and that day was being a very calm day. Too calm. Suddenly, spaceships landed in front of the palace, and many droids came out of them. Too many for our army to fight. I saw the Federation's viceroy from one of the other windows as well. Then I knew they wanted to take the queen. I took my 2 blasters and my staff. I got out of the room and told the servants to stay with the queen. They all had a blaster under their robes. Another idea Padme and I came up with, so they could defend her and themselves. I went out of the palace to lead our small army to fight those droids. Yes, they were easy to kill, but they were so many. Every time I killed one droid, 3 came out of a spaceship. I felt disappointed with myself. I couldn't protect the queen. Naboo was lost. Soon the soldiers and I were surrounded by droids, and most of us were killed. A few who were still alive couldn't get out of there. This is it. It ends here, I thought. But then I heard a lightsaber. Chapter 2, Leaving Naboo. Ari's perspective. I turned around and saw 2 men fighting. The droids started to shoot my men until I was the only one left. Both of the unknown men were holding lightsabers. Jedi, I thought. I had heard about Jedi in the Force before. Their mission was to keep the galaxy safe and peaceful. Well, they hadn't done a good job in Naboo. Thanks to the Jedi's entrance, the droids were confused and disoriented, so I thought it was a time to fight them too. Soon, all of them were slain. I approached the Jedi Knights. One was older than the other. He had gray long hair and a beard, and he was quite tall. The other one was younger, probably between 20 and 25 years old. He had a thin braid hanging from his short, light brown hair. I noticed he had beautiful blue eyes, and I must admit he was quite good looking. But that isn't important, right? Thank you so much for your help, I told them. But I'm afraid the queen and her servants have already been captured. The Federation's spaceships are still here. They haven't left with the queen yet. We can save her, the older Jedi said. The Jedi and I hid behind a wall in a balcony. Right then, I realized there was a Gungan with us. I thought he would be an enemy, but the Jedi didn't seem to care about him, so I ignored him. We saw the queen and her servants surrounded by droids, as well as some of our army's men. It was time to attack. The Jedi jumped from the balcony, and I followed them. We destroyed all the droids and freed the prisoners. We should leave the strait, Your Highness, the older Jedi said. Get the weapons, I ordered to the soldiers, and they obeyed and took the droids' weapons that fell to the floor. The Jedi then turned to me and the queen. We're ambassadors for the Supreme Chancellor. Your negotiations seem to have failed, Ambassador, Naboo's governor said. The negotiations never took place, he quickly answered. It's urgent that we make contact with the Republic. They've destroyed all our communications. There's no way to contact them, I told him. Do you have a transport? He asked. Yes, in the main hangar. I'll lead you. We walked to the main hangar. The door was slightly open, so I looked through it. There were a lot of droids looking after the ships. There are too many of them, I said. That won't be a problem, the older Jedi answered me. I really need to learn his name and stop calling him the older Jedi. He turned to the Queen and said, Your Highness, under the circumstances, I suggest you leave with us to Coruscant. I agreed with him. Although she wasn't the real Queen, Padme would go wherever she went. That means she could be in danger too. Thank you, Ambassador, but my place is with my people, the Queen told him. I realized the young Jedi didn't talk much. He was just there, watching and listening, probably bored. They'll kill you if you stay, I told the Queen. I will only leave Naboo if you come with us, she told me. She knew this is what Padme would say. She's my best knight, my protector, she explained to the Jedi. I nodded, accepting her conditions, and we entered the hangar. I saw a group of pilots knelt down, surrounded by droids. I pointed at them and said, We need to free those pilots. The young Jedi finally said something. I'll do that, as he approached the group of pilots. Oh no, I'm not going to stay here and do nothing, I thought, so I followed him. He looked at me with his blue eyes and told me, You don't need to come, you know. Yes, I know, I said and smiled. He just smirked. We fought the droids and freed the pilots. It was an easy job. These droids aren't really intelligent, but I must say, this Jedi fought well. Well done, he said to me. I smiled as we entered the spaceship to join the rest. Obi-Wan's perspective. I was quite impressed by this girl's skills. She's very good at fighting, and I feel like she could be great help for me and my master. She has a very beautiful smile too. If Master Qui-Gon knew I just said that, he'd lecture me about all the attachment stuff. I hope this girl and I can be friends. I should ask her what her name is. Anyway, we entered the ship and it started. As soon as we were in space, the Federation ship started to shoot us. 2 of the generators were hit and 3 droids were sent into who knows where. Blue droid solved our problem and the power was back. We escaped the Federation, but the hyperdrive was broken. We needed to land somewhere and repair it. I offered to go to Tatooine, and after some arguing, they all agreed. I noticed the girl kept silent. Somehow, I feel like I need to talk to her. I think I could have a nice conversation with her before we land on Tatooine.